This build has been a long requested one, and it's a pretty fun one that I can't wait to showcase to you guys exactly how it works. So we got our official New Game Plus build that'll let you continue to keep playing the game and having fun with it while not overly breaking everything and continuing to parry, dodge, and do all that stuff and take full advantage of all the mechanics the game has taught you rather than throwing it all out the window. So in this situation, we're starting off with Sciel. Sciel, for this particular build, I'm actually using her as a hybrid. She's doing probably the second most damage on this build after Monoco, but also she'll be buffing people as needed, you know, whenever that needs to apply. So actually what we're going to be doing is constantly applying and consuming stacks with her. So Twilight Dance, consume all of the stacks on the Lampmaster. As a matter of fact, I should have Dark Wave there. That would have consumed all the stacks on everybody else. Now it's now with Lune, we're going to Wildfire. All right, get everybody burned up. This will give her a light charge and a fire charge, and then we're gonna use Stormcaller, which is gonna double lightning strike everybody because she technically has 2 active. So every turn that they go, enemies will take more damage over time. And New Game Plus, defense really doesn't matter. It's unfortunate. Defense doesn't really help you out with anything in this. So you're constantly going to have to be focusing on shields. Yeah. Counter. Stormcaller is not going to do crazy damage, but over time, it'll build up. It adds up, you know? It's unfortunate that we have to do a self-nerf type of run, but, you know, this game is getting a little kind of crazy. So, we're gonna try to see if we can get a mark on him. Okay, we got a mark on that one. Let's get a mark on this one. And let's get a mark on this one. Come on. Any day. All right, cool. So, we got a mark on everybody. Let's do Sakapatat Fire. It's going to hit everybody with Monoco. This deals pretty, really crazy damage for him in this build, no matter how much we nerfed it. Yeah, you also saw that enemy to the left was a shot only type of enemy, so that still ended up like killing him. Okay, so let's get the Lampmaster marked again. You know what? His turn's coming up. We have Gradient Charges 3. Let's go ahead and we'll breakpoint him with Monoco, which will deal really good damage. Ah, dang, only 2 million? Okay, nice. So we got some good charges there. So now, let's see, what is Sciel at? Sciel's, okay, we actually do full stacks now. Let's put full stacks on him. And while we have all this, we're going to Twilight Dance again, since he's the only enemy here. Yes, 24 tel, so this will deal even more damage. Yeah. The damage is getting really fun with her. And now with Lune, we can Elemental Trick. And you'll see she has 3 shields on the bottom left of her, on the bottom right next to her health bar. We're going to use Elemental Genesis. With this specific weapon that we have on her, every time she consumes an Earth Charge, she's going to gain 1 more shield. So the longer fights go, which this build is geared towards, she'll continue to just stack up crazy damage over time. It's kind of cool. All right, so let's actually see if we can build up some Gradient Charge here. Let's get Sciel to... There we go. Ooh, I wonder if I can get her back to 5 AP. Nope. Okay, no worries. So let's go ahead and end Slice. This, since we consume so many stacks continuously, we're back in Gradient Charge 3. End Slice is going to deal extreme single target damage, and its damage is increased for each 4 tel you consume since the beginning of the battle. And if I played my cards right in the beginning and used Dark Wave instead, man, she would have consumed 30 from the beginning. And that was about 5 million. But if you continuously consume more stacks of 4 tel with Sciel, she can actually do almost 30 million with this. I think I hit 33 million once with it. And I'm not even running roulette on this build. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to help raise that 38% even higher. You guys have been loving the builds, and we got plenty more where that came from. And another crazy farming one coming up next. It's going to get you guys a lot of Lumina. And also, if you haven't yet, check out Instant Gaming. We're going to be linking it down below. You can get Expedition 33 for a friend right now for $32 on Steam using this link that we'll have pinned down below. The deluxe edition is $40, which is where I got those amazing skins for all the other characters that you guys have been asking about in the comments. But man, $32 for this amazing game, this quite frankly life-changing game, is pretty insane. Most of you guys watching this obviously already have it, but this is more so geared towards if you want to get this for a friend, feel free to do that. And also check out whatever else they got on this website, man. You get Elden Ring Night Rain, which I wouldn't recommend spending full price on this. $36, it's not bad for this game, and there's plenty other things on here that you guys should definitely check out, and let me know down below in the comments what you ended up getting. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right now is $43. That's insane. So why does this build work? How does it work? It's not going to be something that's very difficult for you guys to run. You'll see I catered it towards a 350 Lumina price point, so everybody has at least 350 Lumina that they're using, which you should have on your first playthrough if you're going into New Game Plus after. If not, we have plenty of farming videos on the channel for you guys to get more Lumina. So Sciel's running the Chation. This is my favorite weapon of hers. It's probably her best overall. It's always going to make it so that any move she has that applies foretell always applies 10, which makes Card Weaver an insane ability, because then it'll just put 10 on everybody continuously. These are the 3 Pictos we have running on her. We're catering towards more so speed. I do have Energy Master slotted onto her because it costs a lot. It costs 20 Lumina. I'm trying to save that. Otherwise, if you had enough Lumina past the 350 Lumina threshold, you can absolutely just equip Energy Master directly through Lumina and then apply something on her that would just either increase her speed and crit rate, which there's plenty of that. If you sort by crit rate here, I technically could, let's see, I could swap out, yeah, this one, Charging Attack. I could put Charging Attack in for Energy Master and then apply Energy Master with Lumina. But that would get her over 100% crit rate and increase her speed even more. The moves we're using on her are, this is probably one of the best like loadouts you can have on Sciel. Fortune's Fury, Card Weaver. Card Weaver is the one that we're just always going to start off fights with. It's going to put maximum amounts of foretell on enemies, and if she's in Twilight form when she uses this, she'll put 20 stacks of foretell on everybody. So she's continuing to build up crazy damage, and you guys saw gradient charges are just coming up easy. Intervention and Fortune's Fury obviously are 2 really amazing moves you're going to have on her, because not always will she be the damage focus with this build. You can cater towards Luna. You can also cater towards Monoco. It works either way. We got Twilight Dance. It deals extreme single target dark damage. 4 hits on a single target enemy, consumes all foretell on them. I like this move a lot, especially to end out fights. If you know, you're going against multiple enemies, don't do what I did. Use Dark Wave in the beginning to consume all those, because we're trying to get her gradient charges maxed out so she can use End Slice to just towards the end of battle, just one-shot enemies, and it's kind of fun to build up towards that. She's one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character in the game. I just love her kit, and building her up in battle feels really good. Plentiful Harvest is kind of situational. I just have this on to consume foretell and give teammates more AP. It's not really needed. You could honestly swap this out. You can swap it out for Hour Sacrifice if you're running a high health build on teammates, or you can use Final Path, which will apply 10 foretell and can also break enemies. And of course, Spectral Sweep is also good. It'll apply 1 foretell per hit. Crit hits apply an additional foretell, so you can actually max out foretell with this too. But in my opinion, go with whatever your heart desires. Everything else besides Plentiful Harvest is kind of a no-brainer on her. Now talking about her Lumina, let's actually sort this by active so you guys can see. We still have 77 points available to use on her, but we aren't really focusing on that. We got Augmented Counter 3 on her, so she gets 75% increased counter damage. Augmented First Strike for 50% increased damage on the first hit of battle, which sometimes will straight up go towards a counter, or it'll go towards a actual marking shot. It depends on how you're doing the fight, right? Burn Affinity to increase damage on burning targets, so enemies will pretty much be burned from the beginning if Lune goes first, or anybody else can get some shots off, so increasing damage of everybody in that way. Let's go Charging Alteration, because she's always going to be applying buffs to people, so it'll increase the gradient charges more for her. Charging Burn, 20% increase on a gradient on applying burn. Great to have on everybody, basically. Charging Critical, anytime you crit, it'll also raise the gradient charge. Charging Stun, same thing. But here's the difference. Charging Stun is kind of broken. It's 5% on increasing your gradient charge whenever you're hitting a stunned enemy. And it's not once per turn, it's continuous, which is building up our gradients like crazy. You see these ones are once per turn there. This is not once per turn, it's every time she lands a hit. So if the enemy is stunned, if they're broken and they're stunned, she's going to continuously build up that gradient. And you kind of want that on everybody if you can. Critical burn to increase her crit chance on burned enemies. She does have 79% crit rate in this build, but this helps her get over that threshold. We got critical moment in case she does drop low health. She does have survivor on, so she'll be able to stay alive with 1 HP. This is more like shield focused, more so than defense and health, because most enemies are hitting over 13, 14k. Regardless of if you have high defense or a lot of HP, it's not a whole lot to withstand. So you're kind of going to want to focus on shields, which is what we're doing in this build. Now we got Dead Energy 1 and 2 to build more AP up on killing enemies. This is great for marking shots. If you want to expel shots to kill certain enemies, you totally can, and build back up AP that way. 6 AP off of that, man. It's amazing. Double mark is, man, you got to have this, dude. Making a mark enemy takes 50% more damage. So if you have them double marked, that's twice that you can take advantage of this. You definitely want to do that. That's how we're getting the blue X's on enemies. Energizing shots. This is a staple across all of them. Now, as you continue to play the game, you will use more free aim shots, but a 20% chance to get back 1 AP. This actually activates pretty often. Depends on your luck, of course, like you as a person. But I think this is really good to have on everybody. Energizing start 1 and 2, energizing turn and energy master. Those are the 4 you only want to have. You don't really want to run anything else outside of this. Like, you don't need energizing start 3 or 4. It's kind of overkill, especially if you have energy master already on her. And you'll notice we don't have cheater on her or anybody else. We're actually using faster than strong. This is so it'll do the same effect with cheater. Always play twice in a row, but deal 50% less damage to kind of self-nerf the build a little bit. Cheater is great, faster and strong is great, but that damage that you get by default just by using painted power alone is kind of nuts and can one-shot a whole lot of stuff. So we're using faster and strong, so this way we can still enjoy defensive mechanics within the fights, right? And first offensive, so we can start off first hit dealt and taken deals 50% more damage. Since we are using shields in this, it doesn't matter if we have this on and she takes more damage because that shield will eat the HP hit that she normally would have taken. We got greater defenseless and greater powerful to increase her damage on the debuff and also that buff. Immaculate to also raise her damage a little bit more. Immediate rest to start off with more shields, lower health, but more shields. Shields is the main factor here. Marking shots so we can mark enemies. And we got painted power, of course. I see a lot of people talking about how they want to play the game without painted power. You totally can. It's just going to take a lot longer in fights. I still recommend you use it. Just don't go crazy with any of the low health damage builds and roulette if you want to kind of like still enjoy the game without like overly breaking things. Painted power is good in its own right because a lot of enemies are going to have over like 10 million health. So you definitely want to be hitting like 100,000 and 200,000, which you can by default with some characters and some attacks just by having painted power alone with no buffs. Painter is really good on Sciel because of the Chation. We're going to be using Card Weaver, and Card Weaver is a physical attack. Since Sciel's most of her damage is like dark based, she kind of falls off towards the end, which is why you would like kind of use her in support, but you can still use her to deal damage with Card Weaver and such if you had Painter on her because they would deal physical damage as void damage, and void damage has no weakness in this game. Void damage is not dark damage, guys. It's a totally different thing. We got Perilous Parry equipped on her already. High risk, high reward. Receive damage doubled, but more AP on parries. Powerful shield is really important to this build since we're going to be rocking shields on everybody and also shielding death on other teammates. So if they do die, you get more shields for your teammates. 10% increased damage per shield point on self is so good. Rewarding mark. Every time you hit a marked enemy, you're going to get 2 AP back. Really good to manipulate in turns with marking shots. SOS power I have on her. This will only activate when she gets hit with a killing move and then survivor keeps her alive. Other than that, you kind of would prefer to have auto powerful on her so she has it throughout the entire match. If that makes sense. But depending on your Lumina, if you have more than this is just to get you guys started. If you have more Lumina than this, feel free to slot in whatever you want, especially things from our other builds. So let's scroll down a little bit more so you guys can see. We got Second Chance on her. Very, very important on New Game Plus. Second chance will help you out a lot. If you don't want to run it, you don't have to. It is pretty expensive, so I totally understand, but we are running it on everybody except Monoco. We don't have it on Monoco because Monoco has a pretty interesting build we'll talk about just now. Shielding Death. On death, allies gain 3 shield points. This is really good for everybody to have, so this way, if your teammates do wipe, you have at least another character that can kind of withstand and solo enemies. And in that case, you would also throw on Solo Fighter too. It only costs 1 Lumina. Shortcut to play immediately when you fall below 30% health. So this will activate when she, activates Survivor, getting that killing blow hit on her, and then she's able to play immediately. We got Sniper on everybody. This is kind of important because not every character will have an opportunity to always break with their abilities. However, with Sniper on, the first frame shot each turn will deal 200% more damage, but also can break enemies. This is really important, especially if a teammate dies. We have Breaking Death on them, right? I don't have Breaking Death on Sciel. She hasn't really died too much, but Breaking Death is really important. We have this kind of like on everybody, but she'll fully charge enemies' break bar on death. So if your teammate dies, this will make it so that your first sniper shot on the next turn can actually break an enemy. It's so good. You need to run that. Sniper is really, really good. Solidifying 2 shields when character fall below 50% HP, so more shields activating off a survivor. Solo fighter, just in case, situational, don't really need it, but it costs 1 Lumina, so you're not really losing out on too much. We got stun boost, 30% increased damage on stud targets. You're gonna be breaking enemies a lot between Monoco, Lune, and everybody with sniper Picto. Stun boost is gonna help us out, tremendous values. Survivor, very important in New Game Plus. Sweet Kill, recover 50% health on killing an enemy. This isn't important. Actually, I'm gonna take that off. I'm gonna take Sweet Kill off. I put Breaking Death on her. Sorry about that, guys. We're gonna add that to her. Sweet Kill is not important for this build. She's not gonna be in a situation where her shields will be ever all the way off. And also, like, the health aspect of it it's I don't know, man. Defense is just weird in this game. Whether you have 0 defense or whether you have 12,000 defense, enemies are still going to deal more damage than the health pool that you can have to withstand it, which is kind of just like whatever. Got Teamwork to increase her damage when all allies are alive. Warming up because as fights go on longer, it stacks. You get 25% more damage after 5 turns. And Weakness gain, 1 more AP on hitting an enemy's weakness. Dark damage and all that stuff. There's a lot of enemies that can be weak to that. And, this will overall increase her AP. So that's what we're running on Sciel. Now let's talk about Lune. Lune, we haven't really talked about too much. I love this outfit for her, man. The white hair looks really amazing with this outfit, by the way. We have the Elarim. Elarim is an interesting weapon, earth-based, and it's focusing on vitality and defense. Whenever you consume an earth stain at level 4, it applies 1 shield to her. So that's per stain that is an earth. You can actually add more shields to her. And you guys saw in that fight, it was pretty awesome, man. I love it, especially if you're running the 1 Picto on her and full strength to keep her damage topped out. With the 1 Picto, she'll always be at 1 HP out of 1, so total, full health, full strength, procs off of that. And it's kind of dangerous to play her that way because when you have 1 HP, you can die pretty easy. This weapon makes it so that our damaging moves will always continuously give her a shield, and that can build up even more throughout fights. And increase earth damage with skills, and base attack also can generate an earth stain. So great weapon for Lune. I always keep mixing up their names. So she's got Sniper, the 1, and Augmented First Strike. Her crit is kind of stupid right now. 169% is just way too overkill, but the point is I'm trying to focus more on speed. Speed, more turns, and in general, crit is really the best way to go. Whether or not I focused on giving her more health or defense, it really won't make a difference in terms of her survivability. So the 1 is giving her more damage, more crit, and taking advantage of other cool like combination Pictos. And so the moves we're really using on her, we're starting off fights with Wildfire to burn everybody. That gives us 2 fire stains technically, and then we use Stormcaller. So this way she can generate lightning strikes on enemies every single time you hit them. So it's kind of cool, man. You get double thunder strikes on turn end. It's a really good move. And then we'd like to go into Elemental Trick. So this way, if she has max crit, every time this lands, it fills up a stain. And then Elemental Genesis to pretty much use up all those things. And we also have Mayhem to break enemies. This also deals pretty solid damage too. Can break if all 4 stains are consumed. And now remember, Elemental Trick is going to generate a guarantee Earth stain. So every time you consume it with Mayhem or Elemental Genesis, she's going to get 1 more shield off of that. Typhoon I have as a potential heal for her. It also consumes 2 Earth Stains. So if you do have an opportunity to get 2 Earth Stains on Lune, you can actually build this up pretty good and get her 2 shields off rip and heal everybody. So that's pretty good as well within this combination. So now let's talk about her Lumina. Man, Lumina breakdowns can be, it can take quite a while. She kind of pretty much has all the same stuff that Sciel has for the most part. So we're just going to mainly talk about some interesting ones that Sciel didn't have on her, like full strength. Full strength, because she's at 1 HP overall out of 1, she's always going to be at full health, technically. So she's going to get 25% increased damage on full health. I have Gradient Break on her in case she, breaks an enemy. Is going to charge up the break bar for her. She's going to be breaking enemies a lot between her shots and her Mayhem. And same thing with Sciel too. But again, if you have enough Lumina points, feel free to add these stuff. I'm just showing you guys the bare minimum of what it would take to get it up and running. I think everything I have on her is kind of okay. So Sweet Kill, why do I have that on her? That's stupid. Don't need that. I don't know why that's on her. That might have been a mistake. So I technically could add 1 more thing. Oh, I don't know why I didn't have Dead Energy 1 and 2 on her. So let's go Dead Energy 1 and 2 on Lune. That's weird that that wasn't on her before. And do I have Solo Fighter? No, I don't. Let's put Solo Fighter on her. So that will make up for the 5 we just took out. Okay, just to show you guys here, that's what the updated build is looking like. So we added Dead Energy 1 and 2. Don't know why that wasn't on there. And we got Solo Fighter on her. So this still is a 349 Lumina build. That's essentially how we're running it. Weakness gain, she's always guaranteed to hit at least an enemy weakness on every turn because she's dealing all elements. There's going to be an enemy that's going to be hit by this. She's going to gain AP off of that. It's going to be solid. It's going to be good. Pretty much all you need to really run on her. We do have Augmented Counter 1 and 3 on her. You could, if you had enough Lumina, add Augmented Counter 2 just to deal more damage in that way. But again, that also applies to how much Lumina you guys have. Some of you guys might not have it. And Monoco's build. And you'll notice, well, a common thing in this is we're not using First Strike. First Strike is really good, but it's kind of busted, man. Especially at this point, if you got First Strike on everybody and everybody's starting off with their turns dealing going 6 times in a row, basically, your teammates, a lot of enemies won't have an opportunity to attack. So I don't have First Strike equipped on it. Plus, you could always initiate First Strike with R1, just hitting an enemy in the open areas. I tried an interesting thing with Monoco. I tried running full strength with Clair's life. Unfortunately, that wasn't working. It's kind of crazy. It wasn't activating it because I have in media res, which is halving his HP, but it wasn't working properly with this. I wasn't getting full strength to activate. It's kind of disappointing because I would clearly see his health went up to 100% full, but it still wouldn't activate. Full strength stuff works with Lune because she does have 1 HP out of 1 HP, so there's no other numbers that can be manipulated there. So there's a little bit of a weird glitch between that for this particular build, trying to run that with Clair's life. So I tried that out. It didn't really work. I do have at Death's Door on Monoco, just in case if he does die or is close to dying, he has that Survivor activating, keeping him at 1 HP. At Death's Door will put in work. And this is essentially the build here. We have mostly like the charging burns, charging criticals, charging stun stuff on him. So this way he can continuously raise that gradient, man. Really important that he does that. Faster and strong, of course. Exposing breaks. So this way if he breaks an enemy, he's going to apply defenseless on them. So this way he's going to debuff them and they're going to take bonus damage from your team. Gradient Fighter is important. 25% increased damage with gradient attacks. Definitely want to throw this on Sciel if you guys have enough Lumina for it, because her End Slice will deal even more damage. 25% more is kind of crazy. And the Gradient Break, because he is going to be breaking enemies constantly, and it's ironic that his Gradient also breaks enemies, so he can just keep on getting back Gradients in matches, which is really, really fun. Other than that, he kind of is running the same exact build as everyone else. I'm just going to be holding it here so you guys can keep an eye on it. He does have first offensive, so first hit dealt and taken deals 50% more damage, which doesn't really matter too much. He doesn't have second chance on. I actually don't have second chance on him. I would like to add that to him, but it does cost a lot of Lumina, man. 40 Lumina for that, and we're trying to keep him at the 350 mark. I think Monoco is okay at this point, and it's just a little bit broken if you have second chance on everybody, cheater on everybody, and all these crazy damaging stuff. And a lot of you have been wondering, how can we still continue to play the game in New Game Plus? And this is how you do it. Now, Monoco's weapon, we have the Joyaro. Best weapon for him, I think, personally. The aspect of him revolving around his almighty mask and just guaranteeing that you could always start off with it and then revert your way back into it in other ways, like we showed in his Monoco guide. This is essentially using the same build from the Monoco guide. I'll be linking all the builds down below for you guys to check out. This is probably his best weapon, straight up. You're always going to start off an almighty mask, 20% more damage for each turn taking without taking damage. So if your shields get hit, you can still benefit from that. So that's cool. And can stack up to 5 times. So that's great amount of damage added into that. And break damage is double while an almighty mask. He's going to be breaking even if enemies are at 0 break damage. So that's okay. The Pictos we have on him, mostly crit focus and speed focus. I do have at death's door on him, which I don't necessarily need. You could focus on more speed related ones here, guys, if you really wanted to. Like, let's go ahead and I'll show you how I do. I'll sort by speed. And we're going to look for something that gives him speed instead of this health and at least 27% crit rate, so you can stay in the 100%. And well, look at that, energizing attack. And then there's also combo attack. I think I'm gonna go with auto rush. Could be good because technically you get more speed out of that. It's 25% increase on top of this 895. We're gonna go with auto rush. We'll give him auto rush. We'll get rid of this. He'll be at 111% crit rate. His health did drop dramatically. I just realized that. Wow, his health dropped a lot. So he's going to be playing this with 1000 HP if you do that. But again, it doesn't really matter in New Game Plus. The damage is just stupid what enemies can do. And speed is going to work out very well for you guys. So he's using his full 350 Lumina that we put ourselves on. And these are his skills. Sakapatat Fire is such a good move. You definitely want to have this on Monoco. If you're an Almighty Mask, which you always start off in, it'll deal crazy damage, applies 3 burn per hit, and hits all enemies 3 times. Cultist Blood is just in case if you want to activate at death's door. If there's a situation where you need to use this, it'll sacrifice 90% health to increase his damage, and also activate at death's door. Chapular Slash, I just kind of have on him for whatever. I don't really use it too much because his shots are applying marks anyways. So it's not really important. Duelist Storm is really important. Very good move. Landmaster Light is kind of like you can have this on hits everybody if it's only 1 hit. More damage than Almighty Mask, and it also increases the damage the more you cast it. I think you can swap this out for whatever it is you want. Maybe Creation Void would be good. This is another great move. It's 9 AP, so it's pretty expensive, but this move is very good, especially against a single target enemy, 1 enemy. It hits random enemies 3 times. If it's against a single target, it'll hit that single target 3 times, and you see it does more damage if the same target is hit multiple times. So great move to replace Landmaster Light with. Venusaur Mortar is kind of key for Monoco. It basically makes it so that if an enemy is marked and he hits them with this move, it only costs 5 AP. It'll automatically put him back into Almighty Mask. It's a very good move. You're definitely going to want to use this. There's a great rotation between starting off with Sakapatat Fire. You're going to end up in Caster Mark because this costs 1. It'll put you into his Caster Mark. You shoot an enemy till they're marked. Use this. You're back in Almighty Mask. And then on the next turn, you can Duelist Storm or use any of your other moves that deal great damage. Duelist Storm deals a lot of damage, even though it's mainly a break move. In Almighty Mask, this thing is dealing almost 1 million, 2 million per hit. It's a really good move, guys. And of course, we didn't talk about Verso Mael. They're fucking busted. So you can have them as the second team, as the ones that come after, man. They fucking wreak havoc. And you guys already know we talked them down to death. What types of builds to run on them. I'll be linking those videos down below to you. You guys should go ahead and check them out, man, or else this video is going to be over 40 minutes long, which I don't want to do. Verso and Mael, build them however you want. They're pretty broken. Their damage scaling is stupid. Sciel, Lune, and Monoco are the team that you essentially want to use if you want to keep dealing some crazy damage. And how do I run this team? I like to have Sciel go first. So we'll unequip everybody, and you'll see Sciel's the only one equipped. Then I'll have Lune, and Monoco will go last. I think this is a great composition to have. You could also put Lune first if you really want, so this way you can take full advantage of Stormcaller. That's essentially the New Game Plus team that if you want to keep playing Expedition 33 and having fun with it, and not just break everything and kill everything in one shot, this is the team to use, and that is the build to use. And that wraps it up for this build, guys. That is the New Game Plus build. This team is pretty awesome, and especially if you want to continue to keep on playing this awesome game and not just one-shot everything, that is how you build them. Obviously, you can take things way crazier. If you had enough Lumina, you can go ahead and just add on and slap on all the crazy big damage breaking ones, especially all the ones in the videos we have talking about, and roulette, which is a high risk high reward. 200% damage is stupid good. So comment down below what you guys think about this one. What have you guys been running in New Game Plus, and who's your favorite character? I want to hear what you all have to say. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you are new. More Clair Obscur Expedition 33 videos are on the way, and you don't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.